Howdy, folks. Widget Walls from needcoffee.com here. Back again for another Wayhomer review. Here's how it works for the uninitiated. I have just seen a film, and I have left the cinema. Just that. Not too much, we are in Georgia. I just left the cinema. It's over there that way. And I'm now in my car, and I'm going to tell you about that film on my way home. It just saves time that way. And today we are here to talk about Ant-Man. Okay, so Ant-Man. Synopsis, what can we say? Well, you have a scientist by the name of Dr. Henry Pym, who basically is has worked with S.H.I.E.L.D. in the past, S.H.I.E.L.D., the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and parted after having a bit of a disagreement with them. And then fast forward a bit, and his company is being taken over by Corey Stoll. And you know Corey Stoll is not going to be a very nice guy, because generally when he's a nice guy, he also has hair. So generally that's sort of the telltale sign of whether or not which version of Corey Stoll you're dealing with. And so concerned about his evil Corey Stoll's desire to, in essence, weaponize his technology, his shrinking and growing technology, he enlists the services of a cat burglar to try to steal said technology and prevent utter chaos from breaking out everywhere. Yeah, I think that's a good enough synopsis. Okay, leaving aside the initial concern that I think anyone who had been following the Marvel Cinematic Universe felt when Edgar Wright, who is near and dear to our hearts, exited the project after working on it for freaking forever, and just basically left because he and Marvel didn't see eye to eye on what they were going to be doing with the character. Which, you know, I hope it doesn't turn out with Marvel with their films like they do with their comics, which is, we are going this direction and everyone has to go this direction, and you know, it doesn't matter what you're doing right now, drop what you're doing and we're going this direction. So we'll see. But anyway, so leaving all of that aside, because we will sadly never know exactly the film that we would have gotten had Edgar Wright stayed with Ant-Man and directed it and been able to turn it into what he wanted. It's the one thing that gives everyone pause is that Spider-Man, he has had a long time to make his name to where it actually means something. I mean, not just anybody was on the Electric Company, right? So that's important. But Ant-Man, as they made reference to in the trailer, it's not a name that inspires, you know, fear in the hearts of evildoers, right? And I was concerned it might not inspire ticket purchasing in the wallets of film goers. But this is Marvel. And Marvel, after proving that you could make a film, make a ton of money, that involved a talking raccoon and a tree, people, even my own paranoid and basically pessimistic self, realistic is what I like to call it, but it's really pessimism. It's informed pessimism. We're concerned that maybe they were going a little bit too far. Now, here's what has actually happened, is that they've made less of what we've talked about in the past, which is a departure from the other genres of their films. You know, like Captain America 1 being a World War II drama, you know, action drama, Captain America 2 being a, you know, a sort of spy thriller, Iron Man 3 being a sort of techno thriller. This, if anything, is sort of a heist film with a superhero film, and they're sort of stapled together. But the staples, the only places that they show are the places that you don't mind them showing. So that's what they've done with the film. What they've done with the character overall is they have turned, I think, their weakness into a strength, which is, as is already shown in the trailer, a massive fight between two very tiny combatants. Even on a Thomas the Tank Engine playset will look amazing if you're down on their level, but if you come up to a human height, it will look ridiculous. And they have not hidden this at all. They have not tried to make the film. They've made it organically funny, is I think the shortest way of putting it. And I'd heard about, it's much more humorous than the others. Not by much, because the humor in the other films that we've had from Marvel, again, it comes organically with the setup and with the characters. And with this guy and his situation, it makes sense for the craziness that's going on to happen that way. And it's Paul Rudd did an excellent job in the role, which is kind of a crazy role to get, Ant-Man. But what they have done is they have also, as they seem to do, to say, okay, here is our concept, and they ran with it so that you have no doubts as to the fact that Ant-Man can be a bit of a badass when he wants to be. Despite the fact that it's, again, just ludicrous on so many levels. They've embraced it and they've made that part of it. But I always have a soft spot for characters that are funny or kind of goofy, but can kick ass when it's necessary. So I kind of like that. Michael Douglas was great as Hank Pym. It's interesting how they've introduced him into the MCU, but it doesn't really, comics fans will know what I'm talking about. For the rest of you movie people, don't worry about it. Evil Corey Stoll, I thought was a good villain. You basically had a pretty solid cast for what they were trying to do, and they weren't trying to make an Avengers film. They weren't trying to make a Captain America film. They were indeed trying to make a distinct Ant-Man film, and I think that was very smart of them to do. And this is a film that comes across as not spectacular, but really, really good and solid, and a fun summer movie, and a decent superhero flick. So I enjoyed it. I'm pleased that they were able to pull it off with, I think, the same, if not very similar, quality to their other films. But anyway, and of course, there's going to be people who are going to. This is not going to make Guardians of the Galaxy numbers, and because, as we've talked about on Weekend Justice so many times, everything's about the first weekend in Hollywood. You're going to hear a lot of hemming and hawing about that. Ignore it. I think this will do fine. It will have legs, lots of tiny legs, but legs, and it will eventually make a ton of money. It'll do really well on video and on demand. So, and yes, let me say something about the 3D, is that we did see it in 3D. I thought the 3D was well used because you have all of the tiny stuff happening and shrinking and blowing up and stuff like that. I thought it was used well, but I would say that it's not integral to enjoying the film. If you are looking to save a few coins, then you will not be horrendously sad that you skipped it. But I enjoyed it myself. Cup-wise, I think I am looking at, I'm fairly certain, a solid 3.5. It was entertaining, it was funny, it was well written, it was well constructed, and at the end of the day, it made sense and fit in very nicely with the rest of the MCU. So it was a good chapter to basically end the movie side of the cinematic Marvel universe on for 2015. because at this point we're just waiting for Civil War next year, I believe. So, that's it for another Wayhomer review. Check it out on a matinee if most things are matinees, but do check it out on a matinee if you're going, and save some coin that way as well. Thanks so much for watching. As always, please come and check us out on neatcoffee.com for other mayhem and strange occurrences. And we will see you next time on the Wayhomer Reviews. Bye.
Corey Stoll is a good guy and bald in the strain.
Well, that's my point. That's my point. See, he's good Corey Stoll. This is bad Corey Stoll.
You were saying he's bad Corey Stoll when he's bald.
Yeah.
But he's a good Corey Stoll in the strain.
And he has hair.
And he does? I thought he was bald.
No, he's got hair in it.
Oh, never mind then.
Yeah. And he's of a suspicious nature in House of Cards.
Oh,
no
definitely.
Hair. Yeah. So see? Evil Corey Stoll. It's like Spock's beard. Hair, no hair.
Should we go to Baskin Robbins?
Well, if we don't, they'll know. They always find out.